I just realized you guys haven't had audio through this whole thing, right? I've been asking, is there no audio? Can you guys hear me okay? Can you confirm in the chat? We got audio now? Are we on track? I'm still getting used to StreamYard, so. Okay, cool. You don't need to see me though. So yeah, okay, where we are. Let me back it up a little bit. To recap everything that you did not hear, first of all, I got some Resident Evil jams going. This is going to be a little bit more of a, this is just a live stream where I'm going to be drawing the whole time. I got to get a lot of artwork done, and I can't focus on the chat and the artwork at the same time, so it's going to be mostly me trying to explain what it is that I'm doing. I'm really sorry about the hiccup earlier, guys. I was talking that whole time. But we're on track now. So what I've done here is I've done a painted job on this. This is what the page looked like before the remaster. And this is like, you know, going in and actually painting things out. And you can really see how it's, I'm painting out lines here and I'm giving it just a cleaner look. And when we really compare and contrast, the readability on it is much better because you got like this area up here is very flat and it kind of gradients down. And then these guys are mostly silhouetted. So flashing it on and flashing it off, you can really see the difference of the improvement, you know. And you guys feel free to draw along with me, but this isn't like some of my previous live streams where I've been very focused on the chat and just talking about games and hanging out. This is a little bit more focused on, well, frankly, I just got to get work done. I got the big CreeD Indiegogo campaign that's going to be launching on February 14th, as you can see on the screen. And I want to get this book done so that, you know, I can meet the deadline and hopefully ship it very quickly after, because it's not just a reprint. This is a remaster. Like, I am repainting a lot of this stuff. I did not have time to do this when I had done the book originally because I was working at Blizzard and the schedule was just very demanding. So, this is a gradient map. I should just show you. Oops, I am on the wrong file. Okay, here we go. So this right here is just a gradient map, and you can do this. I've done this many times. You guys know this old trick. This is my famous Trent Kanuga gradient map party trick. Using something like this, it maps all your values to this color gradient. So your dark colors, if it's black, it'll be on this end. If it's light, it'll be on that end, because that's on top of everything. You can get a really nice gradient map effect. I want to do that. Technically, it should be above everything, but we'll see how it looks underneath. I got a little bit of help from Emily, who works with me at Aquatic Moon. And she had done some of these color flats, but I feel like, I mean, the mood of the shot changed, the location, the mood of the shot changed. So I need to go in and do the gradient map on it. Most of what I'm going to be doing under this is just going to be grayscale. So I'm actually going to just take all that color information and I'm going to make it entirely grayscale. And then we're going to just clean everything up. And we're going to add some clouds and things like that. There's a number of processes that I'm using. Sometimes I'll do like color flats. I usually don't do this, but because the scene is somewhat monochromatic, it seems appropriate. It's meant to feel creepier. The dream world is, in this particular shot, it's meant to feel a little bit more creepy. That's why we got the Resident Evil vibes. Can you guys hear the Resident Evil vibes? I found this playlist. Check my Twitter if you want to link to it, or just go to YouTube and search for Resident Evil and chill. That is what we're listening to. We got a crackling fireplace. So for those of you who don't know, I'm going to cover it one more time. The line art is on a layer above everything, and it should be set to multiply. That way you get a nice clean, you could do colors underneath it and it'll, whoops. If you're underneath it, see how it preserves the line art? Yeah. And usually I'll do this values pass or color flats pass underneath all the line art. Before I go in and paint anything in. So it's been very difficult to keep up with my regular work. For those of you who don't know, I work in video games. I manage a small team of concept artists, and I'm usually, working pretty long days to paint over my team's artwork and manage the demands of our clients. And simultaneously, I'm also working on a new indie game, which has not yet been announced. And my old buddies from the comic book industry, well, not just my old friends, but a lot of old CreeD fans, longtime CreeD fans, have been demanding that I come back and draw another CreeD comic, which seems like, well, man, is it the best time? I mean, comic books are, they've taken a bit of a beating during this whole lockdown thing. But I've got some friends who we're grouping together to do it. So it's a little bit, and their books have sold pretty well. So I feel pretty confident that it'll be worth it to do it. But it's been very hard on my schedule to try to do everything. And then on top of that, running a YouTube channel is, well, I don't give it that much of my time, but it does take a good chunk of my week. I'd say I work for about 2 or 3 days a week on my YouTube channel. If we were looking at it as 8-hour days, but so technically, yeah, it's like 12 to 16 hours a week on my YouTube channel. Now a little bit more because I'm doing more videos, which I hope you guys have been enjoying. This week, what did we talk about this week? What was this week's video? What was it? Oh yeah, they'll wait for someone to give you permission. Is what it was. When are you ready to sell your art? Yeah, that was a question that comes in. Quite a lot. It's probably weird to look at because it's in grayscale. What if I turn on the color layer? This actually will give us a chance to. I could technically. Yeah, there's a number of ways to do this. I'm going to do some fancy stuff that's. We're going to make sure all this comes out as grayscale underneath. And that way, even if we paint with color underneath, it'll still be gray because we're looking more at the values than anything else. So I'm going to pick this and I just need a little bit of a lighter value. So I'm going to fill in the sky a little bit more. That's not working. Let's go lighter. That'll work. I'm essentially creating value flats so that I can make a selection. Like if I want to just select the sky behind him, for instance. Eventually, with the remaster, I'm kind of painting over everything, even the line art. So the whole page has got to get a full painted treatment throughout the whole book. Like I said, man, I'm not just reprinting stuff. This is going to be like a fully painted book. The stream might go on for, I don't know, like maybe an hour or two. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. So I used to stream on my Twitch channel a lot. You know what, that isn't working. Let's just do it all in grayscale. You guys are gonna have to deal with it. I used to stream a lot on my Twitch channel. I put all those into all the videos. I guess Twitch takes them down after a while. I put all the videos in my box sets. Hang on, it's sweltering in here. I don't know what happened. Suddenly, it was cold all day. Now suddenly it's sweltering. Seriously, I had like a scarf on earlier. There we go. So all I'm really doing is like kind of trying to separate that from the background, and then I'm going to give this page the same treatment as what I had done on the next page, the one that I just showed you earlier in the video. So it feels like it's part of the same scene. Even when you're doing color flats for something like this, it should be clean. You know, I realize like when you're just kind of figuring out your color vibes for a page, it might be tempting to just keep it super loose, but you end up having to clean it all up later. So you might as well just do it like all together, or keep it clean from early on, so you don't have to do a whole lot of cleanup work like I have to do. Man, when I was doing my book before, I was trying to just make it for like a web thing, so I wasn't planning for it to be printed on standard comic book size or any of that. I was kind of imagining that if it was ever collected, it would just be in like a manga style book. I'm a weirdo. I always try to do things differently. Bit of a problem, I think. Some people I know would say, hey, you should be doing masks, and you should be doing the creating shapes. Some people use shapes, or some people use Illustrator, vectorize their art. But I don't like that because it gets too crisp and clean, and I like my pages to be a little bit more grainy. I like my artwork to be grainy. I like my artwork to feel like it's done on paper. Even if I'm like doing a lot of it digitally, I still want it to feel like it's done on paper. One of my big regrets about this book was not drawing all the original artwork on 11 by 17, because sometimes the lines are just too thick. I don't know, maybe some of you might like that actually. How's the volume on the music? Can you guys hear me clear enough? I want to make sure you're getting these Resident Evil vibes. It's really, really good, nice and moody. This will all make a bit more sense once I finish the cleanup pass on the values and the selections. I'm basically just creating selection masks using values. Because now, like for example, if I want to select this arm, look, it's all one object, especially if I set that to 25. Tolerance is like how much of the color close to that color it's going to pick up too. So. Yeah, this isn't quite like a time lapse, huh? Quite a different vibe. So what maybe a lot of people don't realize is every single painting that I do for my personal projects, I record a near real-time video. And I put those in my box sets of tutorials. So if you ever see a painting that you like from me, and you're like, hey, how did I do that thing? Well, just look at what, oh, that was a weird thing. I don't know what just happened. Just look at the year that I did that drawing. And you can pick up that year's box set of tutorials on my Gumroad. And there's a very strong likelihood that I showed you the exact layering or the every brush stroke. If I can capture it, I try to capture every brush stroke for every piece that I do. And right now, the 2021 box set is like, it's already getting pretty fat, and I just started it. Because these comic book pages are coming along fast. You want to have nice solid flats going through here. Very important to cluster elements of the painting. Maybe that's a preference thing though. Yeah, like this, it's kind of confusing to have all that detail back there. So like, this is going to end up getting filled in black. Don't worry, I'll paint it to make sure that it's very clear that it's part of the log, but for readability, I think it's better to. So I'm on the line art layer right now and like literally painting out. I'm painting with white to paint out some of the details that are just a little too messy, too sloppy. And we'll dig into that later. I don't want to do that yet. All this is just preparing. It's just prep work. If you watched my first live stream, you'll know what I'm talking about. Just setting up flats. I just happen to be doing them in grayscale. And yeah, we'll probably add in some like highlights on things, and we'll do our shading like here, you know what I mean? Technically I should be like shading him, but I'm gonna do very little of that right now. Look at his weird nose. God, I want to fix that. It's so wonky. Just what a wonky face. Like even though it's small, it should still be nicer than that, dude. Come on. I'm just painting with black and white right now, which is why you're just seeing the line art change, because that's set to multiply here. This is how I'll sometimes clean up some of my more messy line art digitally. Of course, you know, it doesn't update the original artwork, but that's okay. Little trick, maybe, I don't know if you guys know this, if you hit X, it swamps these two colors. So if you're just using black and white, you can just hit X to swap between the two. Super handy if you're in Photoshop. Look at how thick those lines are. It's just too thick. Even zoomed out, that's going to be just a little too thick. I could easily end up just noodling away for hours and hours just on values. I don't think I would draw it this way at all if I were doing this today. Like book 3, if we get a chance to do book 3, it would be very different. I just don't think he looks like he's surprised enough. Like he's coming through the dream world and everything's like different now. There we go. Make those pupils smaller. It's tricky because remember, that's a tiny little panel. We don't want to get caught up in like too tiny of details. A friend of mine was saying, he's like, I can't work digitally because I just want to keep zooming in. And he's like a detail junkie, so, and a bit of a perfectionist. So yeah, I understand. I think he's got to stay away from digital. Because, or just use it as a way to supplement, because like for cleanups, because if you get caught up in that, man, you could end up spending hours or days or weeks on pixels that no one ever even sees. That's a much better expression, I think. And I hate that that's like a hard edge of light right there. We're going to sculpt it out just a little bit more. Going back to the values layer. I mean, it's an improvement. We're gonna have to fix it a little bit more later, maybe. Yeah, I might add like a edge light on that or something later. But for now, we're really just trying to clean up some of these value flats so that we can make selections later. And fixing things that just really bug me, like I think this really bugs me a bit too. We're gonna have to make sense out of this. I really wish I would have left the speed lines. Leave those out of it, man. Put them on after the whole piece is done, because it's all noisy. The biggest thing is readability. I have a little bit of a problem, a little pet peeve with comics that just have too much detail for the sake of having too much detail. But like, if it's just noise, it's not adding to the shot. What's more important is like, is it telling the story and is it clear what's happening? Hopefully, we'll make every one of these panels just easier to read. And then once it's easy to read, we want to find that balance between how much detail to add. Another thing is, like we're already looking better, you know. Let me compare it. So yeah, something else is like you see all this black up here around the outside of the page. I feel like there's a chance here to make the shot feel like it's dark. So we're going to go ahead and add just a little bit more black to the outside areas, and we might as well use some of the shape of the grass here. Maybe it's a little... His face is weird, huh? Yeah, maybe I can rework that in a bit. For now, I want to stay on target. Right now, I'm adding a little bit of framing to the overall shot. Trying to make the whole image feel like it's dark. I hate to say it, I might just fill in all these action lines and then put in some other action lines later. Seems like a reasonable solution. I mean, it's a complete redraw of this panel, but it's such an important panel because the whole dream world is going to feel like when he comes through, it's not what it once was, and he's got to have that look of surprise and that look of like, you know, danger. If we're not careful, it'll just look like noise. So we'll just keep working it. Just keep working it until it feels right. I think something happens to your brain when you're a concept artist. Everything is like reworkable, so nothing ever feels done. You just have to kind of put on some Zen music or something and like go, well, maybe I'll get a chance to fix it later. Which I'm sure is frustrating if you're trying to like follow something for consistency. But I think that's why I wanted to do a video about like the issues that you develop from being a concept artist and how it all the iterative design work like causes some issues with your ability to finish things completely. It took me a long time to even be able to finish a project after I left working in-house. It's like a total mental shift. For those of you who are just tuning in, we are reworking this page to match the same tone and color vibes as this page. So that's what we're going to be doing. To do that, we've got a gradient map under our line art, and we're just doing cleanup right now to make sure that our frames are readable. It's going to be tricky though, because what works really well about this page is that we've got all this warm light down here, so you've got a lot more color variety, whereas this page is going to feel very monochromatic. But you know, Ashley Wood can do a whole book like that. So can I. That's not true. I can't get away with anything Ashley Wood gets away with. I actually want to remove, for purposes of this scene, I need to remove the characters from this first shot. We need to see that tree, kind of gnarled tree. We don't need to see these two sitting under it. It confuses it for the story, which I will not reveal. How do we have two line art layers? What's the deal here? We don't need that. We'll just keep it as a backup. When you're doing a comic book, a lot of people have a lot of opinions about how you're doing it wrong. I guess that's true with art in general. You gotta follow your own lighthouse, man. If it works for you, do it your way. I want this tree to feel a bit more gnarled. And certainly I want, like, I'm going to just go for it. You know, like, I kind of want like another layer of like gray. I'm making it black, but I need gray. Then do some more branches so it feels just a little bit more full. It's still too dark. Like a 50%, I think is good. Oh, and make sure that's set to darken. That should be on darken. Or multiply. That way when we turn on our gradient map, it should actually be underneath, yeah. There we go. That way it's got color. I think I pulled up the Resident Evil vibes because we got, well, two reasons. There's just last week they announced the Resident Evil 8 with a trailer, which I'm kind of excited about. Mostly because it looks like it's going to be a little bit more action than 7. More cannon fodder, hopefully. And the second reason is because we got like a kind of a gnarled nightmare kind of a vibe I want to tune into. Music can sometimes just play an integral part of setting your mood when you're doing a painting. I don't know who the composer was for this. I guess Resident Evil's had multiple composers throughout the years. This week I got hooked on playing some Far Cry 4, of all things. Out of nowhere, I was just like, yo, I never played the Valley of the Yetis. Like a DLC for them. Also, I'm coming in on 250,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. And I made a promise years ago. No, it's not going to be anything embarrassing. Well, maybe a little bit. I promised that I would finish my playthrough of Metal Gear Solid 1 on my channel. I'm doing it. A big part of it is also because, you know, what am I doing? I already drew one of these leaves. What am I doing? Just, oh, you don't need to copy paste it. Just drag it. We're going to use that leaf all over the damn place. So yeah, it might be a little embarrassing. I mean, I died more times than I'd like to admit, but I'm doing pretty good. I'm almost completely done now. I'm coming up on the end of it, and I just haven't decided how best to release them because I know a lot of people tune into my channel for art, and but hey, I'm a game enthusiast too. I love retro games. Actually, I love a lot of modern games too. So I might do like 2 or 3 hours worth of content a day, but I might do it on like a Tuesday right before I release my Wednesday video because then your latest video on your channel looks like, oh yeah, we got art on this channel. But if you guys want to watch me die a lot in that game, it only took me 3 tries to beat Psycho Mantis. It shouldn't take me in. I should be able to do it on the first try, but I found that I was a little rusty. It's been 3 years. Of course, there's a lot of rumors and speculation about a Metal Gear sequel. Or not sequel, remake by Bluepoint. But who knows? Who knows if any of that's true? I was kind of reluctant to do it because I was like, well, if they're going to remake it, I don't want to ruin it for myself. But you know, I came to a realization that if I could just play Metal Gear on my channel, well, I don't think I ever have to draw. I might just retire. After 250,000 subscribers, I think I might retire and just play video games on my YouTube channel. What do you guys think? Would you tune out? Maybe a combination of both. I'd like to do more gaming on my channel. It's an excuse to do more gaming too. Appreciate some of my favorites, some of the classics. See, what is this? We got a moon here, and it's not an aquatic moon? That's some BS. If you were ever wondering, why did I name my company Aquatic Moon? When I was getting started in comics, in my first CreeD books, the character goes to this dream world, obviously, and I would draw the moon like dripping, just because it was like funky and weird, but it kind of represented to me like this idea that the rules didn't matter. It was like here, imagination abounds. And that was kind of like that notion alone sparked my career as an artist. And so like I was like, well, I want to embrace that. And I didn't register Aquatic Moon as a LLC, as a company, until 2012, but I had been putting the label on everything that I made independently since I think 1997. Before I moved to Los Angeles, before I started working in games. I wonder if I could do like a faked, let's see if there's a way to do like a faked ellipse here to give it like a half moon look. We're going full bleed on this page. Nope, you're on the black layer. Let's, do we want to do this? It just looks like an orb in the sky if I do it like this. This is just a test to see how it looks. Yeah, I mean, it's going to cut off on the page. But we may as well. Why not? Screw it. This is where the rules don't apply anymore. The dream world. So progress is actually slower than I thought. I don't know why. I think maybe the streaming is slowing down my machine just a little bit. Either that or it's because I'm lost in my head. Listen, it's these jams. They're so groovy. It's like putting me in a mellow state. So things like this, you don't want to have a lot of different values in these like shadow areas, because like you want it to cluster and get this like quick read on things. In fact, I might just go darker with this and make that mostly solid. If you have a lot of detail in your line art, you can't have also a lot of detail in your colors. It's like they'll be fighting each other the whole time. These are just things that I found, that I learned for myself, by the way. They're not like steadfast rules that everybody, like every artist isn't, in agreement on these things. It's just things that I found when trying to do comic book coloring. It's like the pages that have a lot more black line art detail aren't going to, you don't want to have as much detail in the colors too. Yeah, let's get that hue saturation back on to make sure everything we're doing is grayscale. So this is just a hue saturation layer that makes sure anything that's underneath it is completely grayscale. I think also hitting this with a little bit of an airbrush is going to help. That is another thing to consider. If you're doing your flats, you can do some airbrush gradients actually are your friend if you have a lot of detailed line art too. And that's nice. It's got a nice feel. This is going to all get, this is going to all need to get reworked a little bit too. Kind of like what I did on the mood board, or that other page that I just showed you earlier. Like I'm going to push these guys back into the background and kind of fill them in a little bit solid, like what we're seeing right here on these guys. See how they're just kind of solid like that? And I want to do that give that treatment to these guys. It's going to look real nice. Yeah, see, I'm getting major slowdown. So should we, yeah. I don't like how his finger is like right on his face like this. I wonder if there's a way that I can redo that hand. Let's go to the line art layer. Can I just cut it out maybe? This is a serious hot fix, dudes. I think, yeah, it'll look better. I mean, we want the claw to be coming at him, but I think I got to angle it differently. Let me just back this off so we can see what we're looking at. Yeah, like it was going right up his nose. That's annoying. I don't like that. At least this way is you get a bit of a better view on it. Maybe I can... We'll just sketch it in real quick. I have a feeling this whole page is going to get a lot of digital treatment. But you want to be careful. Like if I went and broke this panel, suddenly, like if that claw went over, then when the viewer reads it, they might go, panel 1 to panel 2, and then they might get pulled over here because this is breaking the panel, thus calling too much attention to itself. And we don't want that. So what if I lower it a bit more, maybe even reduce its size? I'm okay with it overlapping his hand or his chin a little bit. That's better. I think that's much better. As long as we can still see his knee. Like I said, it's all going to get painted anyway. This is just the sketch phase. Color roughs, planning out your page. Oh, my Metal Gear playthrough, by the way, guys. That game is so rad. It's been 25 years since it came out. They just don't have heroes like that anymore. I don't know what it is. It's like even Big Boss is Naked Snake is nothing compared to Solid Snake in Metal Gear Solid 1. He's like the perfect hero. He's got this story arc he goes through at the beginning where he's just a soldier on a mission, hired to do a little wet work. Playing through that game again, well, first of all, people ask me, from time to time, like, what do you do if you lose your drive? Like if you're just uninspired and you're feeling like burned out, how do you fight burnout? For me, I just play Metal Gear. It makes me want to make games. It made me want to make games in 1997. It made me upend my whole life and move to Los Angeles. And that's saying a lot. To have to want to live in Los Angeles. especially nowadays. Anyway, that game reminds me of just why I wanted to do it to begin with. Like, I think every artist needs to find that thing that reminds them of why, and that's your totem. You can always go back to it. Okay, now we got to clean up all the work underneath it. So we want to make sure that we erase out any line art that's underneath, so that when I merge it down, it doesn't. By the way, I'm on the line art layer right now, just erasing out the lines that are underneath, because I'm going to merge this hand down onto that. We're just getting the black line art here. All right, let's merge down the hand, but we gotta bump that up. Oh, not bad. We still got some artifacts here we gotta clean up. Let's go ahead and address that. His mouth looks huge. I don't know what I was thinking when I drew that. I guess I thought I'd fix it digitally years later, right? No. I'm gonna probably end up adding some light and painting out these lines. Thunderstorms always put me in like a pretty relaxed mood too. So when I'm really stressed out, it's nice to just have a awesome retro game soundtrack with a rain track. Hell yeah. Let's make his mouth a little bit smaller so it doesn't look so silly. It's already like bad enough that his neck is like 2 inches thick. And let's fix his nose, because that's just up too high. And too big too, by the way. I'm gonna flatten out the colors underneath, or the values, so that I can see what I'm painting here. Do not advise doing it this way unless you have to. Like I said, this is all remastering, fixing old work. I dread having to do faces at angles like this sometimes. Especially on a kid. It's so hard to do. We're getting somewhere. Eventually it'll look good. I know it doesn't yet, but eventually it will. That's the beauty of being able to rework your old stuff. His eyes don't look like they're lining up. I gotta move it over. Yeah, so basically I'm living in the 90s again, guys. But with all the advantages of modern technology, which is kind of a beautiful thing. I was telling my wife the other day, some people have like a midlife crisis. I think I'm just having like a midlife appreciation. I'm so just in love with all the stuff that I used to love again. I'm listening to music that I listened to when I drew CreeD in the 90s. I'm playing the games that I played when I drew CreeD in the 90s. He looks a little less scared. I think maybe if he's looking more, like if we see more of the upper part of his eye, he's gonna look more frightened. And again, all this is gonna act as like a sketch because I'm gonna end up painting this too. Like, I hate that his neck looks like this, you know, like that's gonna get fixed too. It's almost an entire redraw on this frame, on this panel. Still less time than redrawing the whole page though. There are some pages I completely redrew from this book. For those of you who are just joining, this is for the CreeD Reimaginary 2-issue story that's going to be coming to Indiegogo on February 14th. It sounded so sinister when the thunder cracked right when I said that, right? On February 14th. You know what? Let's just hide more of his face in the shadow. Hell yeah. It's looking better. I mean, it's looking better, man. Like, it's not quite perfect. So, if this goes well, if you guys enjoy drawing with me, please do drop a like on this video. Don't forget to subscribe because I want to do, I mean, what would be amazing is if I could just do my work on live stream with you guys every day. That would be fantastic, right? So if we can make it happen, I'm down to do it and share my whole process. Every panel, every page. You can go on the adventure with me. But I'm not going to do it if it kills my channel. Some people say, oh, live streaming kills your channel. You see a dip in subscribers. YouTube doesn't like it when you live stream for some reason. So I'm going to fight them on that. I need your help. But I'll go with the flow. If it doesn't do well, that's cool too. The book is coming along nicely. I would say it's the best book I've ever done, the best comic I've ever done. I mean, primarily because the story is just much more thorough. A lot of the old CreeD stuff that I used to write was very like stream of consciousness. It was like just stuff that I was going through in my life. Now I've written I've written 4 novels. Technically 2 of them were short novels, novellas. So since then I've written, a few books. I've written a couple of video games. So I think I know a thing or two more about writing than I did before. It'll be neat to come back. I'm not a kid in my parents' basement anymore. That's when I did CreeD, I was a kid in my parents' basement. Through a lot of this process, I'm also putting together a team. The A team. That's the art team for more comics. So hopefully we'll do all right, and then we can do a lot more books. I can stream them, the development. I can hang out every day. It'll be fun. So I'm really going to appreciate your support when you do that. Hopefully we can sell a comic or two, so I can pay these artists, so I can pay these people to help me make these books. Well, they get paid anyway. And I can afford to pay them. Okay, we're already, I mean, that's, that does look better, right, guys? I mean, yeah. What did it look like before? That's what it looked like before. So, 'tis an improvement, I'd say. Okay, so another thing, moving on, we've got a big thing here is the paper texture. So we can just drag that over to this one. That paper texture is good for, oh my gosh, are we on 600 DPI? I bet we are. Yeah. So if you're curious about dimensions, I've covered this many times, but people keep asking. So comic book pages are, with a full bleed, you're going to want to do them 6.88 by 10.5 in the final. And then you want to be at 300 DPI. Remember I was saying, like, why is my computer going so slow? Because I was working at 600 DPI. I'm just on a 2019 MacBook. It's not a supercomputer. We should go a little bit faster now. So final print lines won't be as crisp, but the printer doesn't really print anything at more than, I think, 128 DPI or something like that. So it doesn't really matter. Maybe 150. I don't know. So we've got that paper texture on here. That's giving us a little bit of nice grain. And the next step is, well, we got a wonky moon here, but we can probably do a lighten. Yeah, okay, let's get into the painting part. Let's consolidate some layers if we can. Like this is a normal layer and that's a normal layer, so we can combine those two. That's a multiply layer, which has got our tree on it, that's something that I didn't quite finish. So we've got, this is just the tree stuff. Whoa, I don't need to look at that. There we go. No, let's not mess with that. But what we can do is maybe erase out just a little so that we get a little bit of a gradient on those back leaves. And again, that's just this layer. It's set to multiply. Let's get some more leaves here. Just copy and paste them. I use Command and Option to copy paste. And Command T allows you to transform, so no point in redrawing it over and over. So let's go to I'm going to turn off my paper texture so that we can work. I'm going to work mostly entirely above everything. Let's just put that paper up on the top. What's on this layer? I haven't put anything there yet. Huh. That's a new one. Okay, great. We can use it. Let's do a normal layer. Okay. And then I've been painting a lot with my watercolor brush. You know what though? These are using black lines, and I think that we can do a little bit of a better job. Yeah, I think we can do a little bit of a better job if we create a lighten layer. This is where we're going to push some things into the background. Okay, so this is going to back off some of that line art because it's the lighten layer. It's going to look like it's painted out lines, and because they're of a lighter value, the contrast is lower, so it's going to look like all these islands are in the background. Compared to that big tree in the foreground. Most certainly we want to back off the lines around the moon. And it is a lighten layer, so we can actually start painting in some, maybe clouds or something. I'm going to do some like flowy stuff. This might be too light, but you can definitely see how it feels like they're in the background, these islands, these floating islands. The floating islands from CreeD were inspired by a film called, anyone? Bueller? There was a film that I absolutely just loved when I was a kid called The Never-Ending Story. With where they just had all these chunks of earth that were being ripped apart by, I think they actually called it the Nothing. And then I called, if you guys know CreeD, you know about the Void. So they had the Nothing and I had the Void. Yeah. What? It's inspired by it. But in The Never-Ending Story, the Nothing wasn't tied so much to his real life. But The Never-Ending Story definitely played a key role in influencing CreeD. That, and I had this babysitter. I've never told this story before. You guys are here for the first time that I've ever told this story. I had this babysitter, and when I was 7 years old, and every time we'd go and visit her, she'd tell us a story. She was quite a storyteller. She told us this story about how on a full moon, this werewolf would come into her room and carry her off somehow into the sky where she would chill out on the moon, okay? Sounds ridiculous, but I believed it. I was 7. And the thing is like that story stuck with me. And I was like, oh, the moon was covered in diamonds, by the way. Yeah. And so that kind of story just stuck with me. And I was like, I wanted these places to be real, I never made a moon covered in diamonds, though. But now maybe I should. I don't know. It was something about that, like kind of, it was one of those stories that just totally enamored me as a kid. Crushed me when I found out that she had lied about the werewolf prince. It wasn't real. Or maybe the werewolf prince made her tell people that it was a lie. I don't know. Maybe somebody out there right now is watching this and going, he knows. He knows about the werewolf prince and the diamonds on the moon. I don't know. It's kind of a fun story. But I believed it. I was 7. Come on. I'm digging these sounds though. I don't know how I found this. There's like somebody out there, there's like a group of people making chill out versions of all kinds of classic tunes. Oh, you know what? Look at this. This one right here did not get the lightening treatment. You gotta go in and lighten it. And I think this one is a little bit further back, so maybe it should be even lighter. So it feels like it's really off in the distance, you know, something like that. We're getting somewhere. Painting is a slow process. And it's a lot of fishing around until you figure out how to fix all the problems. Okay, well, you know, we also got a lot of blues in here. Is that even the same? Yeah, it's the same gradient. I adjusted the levels though. We're gonna have to match that. Anyway, you see how these guys right here, I want to copy that, so I'm just literally going to copy it and paste it. Whoops. Because I want the same vibe right here. And I'm going to go to a normal layer. And I'm going to copy my own stuff. This is a reference thing. It might be handy to like label. Let's do it on a darken layer though. I have 2 normal layers. Where's the darken layer? Did I not have one? We need a darken layer. I didn't create one. Copy. That's my lighten layer. Also a light. No, that's a normal layer. Both of those are normal, so we can merge them. There we go. Favorite Resident Evil? Anyone? I was working at Capcom when they released Resident Evil 4. It was a huge deal. The game made so much money. And this is what's kind of cool about Capcom, by the way, guys. When they released Resident Evil 4, it did so well that they gave everyone at Capcom US a bonus. We didn't work on it. They were just like, yo, the company's really killing it this year, and you're part of that. So here's like a couple grand. It wasn't anything huge. I didn't like buy a house with it or anything, but But it was still like, damn, dude, really? They did not do that at every company that I worked at. I have to be careful. I don't want to like imply anything like, why didn't they do that at Blizzard or anything? But they didn't. So there we go. I already did it. I implied it. They didn't. Not for everyone. We'll save that yellow for later on this guy. And that's another thing is like back here, all this needs to get, we got to just get darker. Like this is where the depth starts to come in. I want to get more of that blue in here because it's not looking like it matches the previous page. We got to match it a little bit closer. Managing all these different, managing all this lighten and darken layers is getting to be messy. Let's just straight up paint. I think I'm kind of gun shy, I think, about doing some things on stream because I'm like, well, am I explaining this? Am I making this clear? So it is kind of making it a little bit harder to do, but it's fine. I'm just on a normal layer now. I'm not even gonna try to do the lighten and darken stuff. It's just, we're just gonna go right into finishing this, like painting it out. So these are like primitive skeezix. The idea behind them, this actually happened to me in a dream. I won't go too much into detail on that. I'll leave some of it for speculation. I woke up and I started sketching it out. And it was after I had created the skeezix for CreeD in the original series. It was around the year 2000. I was being like chased down by these little monsters. They were just sort of formless little goblins with huge mouths and pointing, gnashing teeth. Man, that rain's really kicking in now. I miss the rain. I've lived in Los Angeles. Well, I'm not in Los Angeles. I'm in Orange County. But it doesn't rain much here. Just recently, though, I got a good amount of it. It was so nice. I know that people who live in very rainy areas, it gets really annoying to them. But when you go for 10 months of the year without any rain at all, it's like, yeesh. Feels good, you know. It's cold though. When it rains here in the winter, it's like a cold rain. much more prefer tropical rains, but I'd love to move to the tropics, somewhere tropical. Maybe in a few years. Maybe after the CreeD comic makes a couple $1 million. There's no reason to think it won't. No reason at all. With as many people as have been demanding I return to it, the only question is, will it do so well that I just stop working on games? I don't know. I like making games a lot, you know? I'll never stop YouTube. I don't think I'll ever stop. I'll probably be a 90-year-old man on YouTube. If YouTube's still around, I don't know. I mean, strange times. I do wish they had some competition. I shouldn't say that. Now they're definitely going to demonetize me. I was on Twitch for a little while, but I don't know why. I think just work got really busy, and I was like, oh, I can't stream as much. That might happen again. I don't know. Once we add the yellow in his eyes, that guy's going to pop out real nice. I also like to go in, I'm going to hit it with some rim lights to really pop him out. Those of you who are just tuning in, I'm working on a CreeD page here, Reimaginary, trying to remaster this book, which means I'm taking the old pages and I'm literally repainting them almost entirely in some cases. This page was not in the original. This is a new page, but from a sketch that I had. It might have been in the Apple Tree book, but that book only sold like a few hundred copies. It wasn't one of the more widely distributed ones. It was right when the comic book industry completely tanked in like 1999 or 2000 or something like that. It was just like, I think even Spider-Man at that time was selling like 20,000 copies. It was a real dark period for comics. Or for, you know, people making comics. That was when I switched over to working in games. So, question for you guys: do you prefer to see more of these live drawing kind of videos, or do you prefer the chats, the chill out chats, talking games and stuff? I suppose I talk about games on these too. But certainly if I'm painting, I can't pay as much attention to the chat. It's got to be one or the other. This way is a lot more productive for me anyway. Like, I mean, just in the sense of getting my work done. I've got so much on my plate right now. I think I didn't really talk about it much before, but I found myself kind of getting bored with doing things the same old way over and over. You know, just kind of looking for a way to spice it up. It's another reason why I want to finish that Metal Gear playthrough, by the way. Why not share the experience? Right? Why not? I don't know. Unless people get upset about it. Even then, that's all right. His face looks weird. Again with that 2-inch thick neck, dude. What was I thinking? Sometimes it helps to just silhouette out what you're making, and then when you're painting, to just pull out the light from the silhouette. No, don't do that. And again, be careful to not zoom in too much. That highlight on his nose is just way too bold. Let's trim that back. And his eyebrow, look at how thick that is. Jeez, dude, trim him back. I get pretty annoyed when I look at my old work, especially when I have to try to fix it. It's like art directing my former self. Looks better. Still not great yet. We'll get there. Either way, I suppose you guys will let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this after I upload. If you don't know, I do put all of my videos up in a playlist. You can watch my previous live chats, although I didn't do much drawing in those. This is still trying to kind of figure out, what do I want to do? While still being productive. Because that was kind of the problem that I had before, was that I wasn't getting as much done as I needed to get done. If I'm not doing any of the artwork. Maybe I need a co-host. Somebody to read it to me. Read the comments for me. See, I'm going to get carried away with details. Something wonky about it. I think his nose looks like it's too big. We're going to bump up his shadow to push that back. And then the second thing, now this is a bit of a trick. I'm going to grab the whole thing and then paste it, and then I'm going to use a warp filter or liquefy. Hopefully this won't crash my computer. And this allows you to move some things. So like his face was feeling just too long. So we're getting better. There we go. Much better. It just looks like a little bit less of a tall face. Of course, now this is on its own layer. So we've kind of obliterated our line art by doing that, which is okay. Like I said, I'm going into painting mode now, so. I'm gonna call on my inner Magnola here. Just paint some shapes coming out of black shadow. So when I'm doing a page like this, I'll probably spend, I mean, if the line art doesn't require a whole lot of repair work, it'll only take me like 2 or 3 hours. But this particular page, I was unsure about doing this one because it needed so much rework, you know? So this one's probably going to end up taking me about 5 hours to just go through and fix all those things. And, you know, it'll be for the better. Usually those pages are going to end up more painted. So it's something that, like a comic book team with a distinct penciler, inker, and colorist wouldn't be able to do. But because I'm doing it all myself, I can kind of do it like, and not have to second guess if, you know, it's accurate to the intention of the shot or whatever, you know, like I'm not going to upset the guy who did the pencils by adding shadows and stuff like that, you know. A lot of my older work, I just did lines that were way too thick, and unfortunately that sometimes makes the artwork look like it's just way less detailed, and it's a kind of a more modern thing. People tend to like more like tiny lines or no lines, painted out lines. So yeah, this story is getting quite a update. All the artwork too. So here you see how this arm is just too light. I need to find my darken layer, and then I want to match that. Oh, I got to do another one. See, because I had that lines or the artwork above it. So we created a darken layer. This is how all of my pages end up getting so messy, or all of my layers end up really messy because I'll sometimes just create like tons of layers of fixes. Darken layers, lighten layers, whatever gets the result. I'm not working with a team, so I don't need for anyone else in development to be able to decipher and like pull off like where's the darken layer or anything like that. No. It's as long as the final product looks good. That's what's going to matter. And this particular shot is a little bit more moody, so having more shadows, I think it's going to be fine. There we go. Add a little bit more curvature to form and body to his hair there. This is a little wonky. We better clean that up. We need a normal layer here. Add little bits of highlight to this. It's not the focal point of the image, so it doesn't need to be a lot of painted detail here, but something that turns the form just a bit more. I think it's going to make it read as a log a little bit more. And also, I like getting these little bits of grainy painted work in there too. That's going to make it nice. Maybe that thick white outline is a little too much. Of course, it's important to zoom out now and then, which I haven't been doing enough of. Let's do that. How's it looking? Yeah. I mean, it's looking better. See this grass right here? This is exactly one of those things. We're going to go in with the lighten layer. Let's just do another one on top. This will create a little bit of depth. If you're a penciler or if you're doing comics in the traditional way, you would have to indicate to the colorist that you want them to cut that out. We're doing it all ourselves. So, well, I'm doing it myself. You guys aren't doing it all yourself. Well, I don't know. Maybe you're doing your own comic yourself. Anyway. Tidy up the details on this rock. Give it a little bit more form. All right. Good progress. This thumb looks weird, doesn't it? Let's just repaint that thumb. That's at least a little better. There we go. All right. Looks like we were, oh my gosh, that's a full 147 minutes of Resident Evil chill out. Let's see. How about, we're going to dig up, oh, here we go. You guys tell me if you know what it is. You're going to know right away. No, this is a weird remix. Oh, here we go. Yeah, from like the third note there, it's pretty clear what we're listening to. This is Final Fantasy chill out music. It's lo-fi, okay? Or lo-fi. Is there a rapper named Lofi? Lofi Snoogums? These are some jams you could probably rap to. I know a couple of people that can freestyle rap. I wonder if they could rap to this. I can't do it. I tried. My brain doesn't work that way. I think some people are wired for it. I don't know what that requires. How does one prepare their mind to freestyle rap? I don't know. So, not something I'm equipped to do. But this music makes me think that maybe I should learn. Ah, yeah. No, I don't know. I'm not gonna. Let's see. Always remember to put your time and energy into the important part of your painting first. So now that we've gotten our character is pretty clear what he's doing, let's find, let's add another layer of shadows here. With just a little bit more blue. Kind of darken layer so we can just do the underside. But we don't want to get super detailed. Like, I'm not going to fill all that in. You want areas where it's just kind of flat. Trust me on that one. If you don't do it, you'll regret it. You don't want it to look muddy. Mm-mm. All right. Shouldn't that be, yeah. You can use your shadows to clump things together too. Just as a way to kind of add a little bit more clarity to the image. So I'm also recording this because I'm going to add it to the box set of tutorials, because I'm going to break down. I'm thinking I want to get an editor to help me put together some like annotations throughout, things like that. Really break down a little bit more of that process as well, just of how I'm remastering this book. I want to document the whole thing as best I can. See, now that panel is definitely going to read a lot better. And then, of course, you know, if we go back here, remember when we made all of our value selections? Now, if we select that, we can technically add a little bit of a highlight around his face. So this is where it starts to get fun. Adding the values is like the hardest part. Oops, we went the wrong way. Oh, lighter. Oh, but of course, we're going to have to cut out that mask a little bit anyway, because the values are a little too close. So I had flattened this, so we're going to have some messy stuff in here too. But no matter. We might be able to just do it. Geez, you know what? Why not just do a dodge layer on top of things? Yeah. Let's do that. We'll try it anyway. Create a new layer. Set it to color dodge. Yeah, you know, not bad. Maybe add a little color to it. So we got, yeah. That way he's just really going to pop out. See? And I'll blend it a little bit. Kind of like that moonlight hitting it. So I'm just smearing it a little bit, so we get a little bit more of that like saturated core shadow. Anyway. It's not my fanciest page, but it's coming along. While we're doing that color dodge, let's hit the sky a little bit. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. That's real nice. Look at that. In fact, let's just not be shy. We're being a little too timid here. Yeah. We'll clean it up in a bit. That's too much on his face there. And you know, something about this background. I'll go back to my line art layer here. There's still all these like speed lines we had in here that I'm gonna have to draw back in. You guys will see the fancy update when I finally fix all these things. It's just chipping away at it. Doing a page or doing a painting, I think of it just like it's a lot of problem solving and then relying on things, tricks that you know, and exploring and finding another problem and then solving that one and then moving on. And I'm gonna add a little bit of, I feel like this is kind of neat what we're getting with this blue. So I'm gonna add a little bit of a saturated, bright saturated edge. That's still on, oh, that's on your line art layer. Don't do that, buddy. I wonder if it'll work on the color dodge layer. Yeah, it might be too intense though, but yeah, don't do it on the color dodge layer either. It's too intense, man. Just do it on the lighten layer. It's just going to add a little bit of a glow to make it seem like it's blooming. The light's kind of blooming a little bit. Maybe even just do like a little hit of it right here. This is on a lighten layer, so it's gonna. So it's only gonna, well, I mean, it'll pop out some of the light that we're seeing on the black line art. It might be too intense. You have to be careful with that effect. It can very quickly get out of hand. I'm having an issue where sometimes with Photoshop, I don't know if it's just on my Mac or what, but sometimes I'll like try to pull this up and then it'll just close it out. I don't know what the problem is. It's probably like an OpenGL issue or something, but if I find out, I'll make a video about it. Anyway, these little spots in here are nice. They kind of leave this impression that there's like all these chips in the rock. Technically, there would probably be a little bit of a reflective light from the moonlight right here. So I could probably sketch that in. Again, all that line art, if you'll notice at this point, it's just like, it's acting like a sketch while I just paint. Something about the new Final Fantasy 16 doesn't feel like it's gonna have the vibes of the classic stuff. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but listening to this and just thinking about that artwork, I don't know. But I guess we haven't seen enough to really know. It's not fair to make a judgment that early, but nothing about Final Fantasy 16 yet has made me go, ooh, like, I want to visit that world. Like the heroes are wearing the same armor as the other soldiers. I don't know. I'm being nitpicky. The character designer, what do you want? Of course I got an opinion about that. Just like a little bit of blue on there. But my feeling, like, if Square Enix wanted to just print money, just keep doing what they did with Final Fantasy VII Remake. You know what I'm saying? Just print that money, man. Give me Final Fantasy VIII Remake, Final Fantasy IX. Before you do 8, do 9. So panel one's starting to look pretty cool, I think. I mean, it's getting somewhere. I'm gonna add some little bits of driplets. It's got mood, you know, it certainly feels like kind of dark and creepy. Well, you know what I could do? This kind of thing is like really soothing and fun for me to just grab that watercolory brush, go to like a normal layer, and just paint clouds in there, and then blend them. I like this brush because it's like, if you press very lightly, you just get like a little bit, but if you press harder, you get like a more of a higher opacity. I want this to feel a little bit more like clouds though, so let's give it a little bit of like an edge. This will also frame our tree just a little bit more. It's just supposed to feel like a dreamland with these floating islands that I'm going to probably end up overworking. Maybe let's go the other way through with a highlighter or highlight edge on these clouds. These lines back here, if that's so far into the distance, then those lines are too thick. I got to paint them out. And while I'm painting them out, I might as well kind of flatten this a little bit. If you can make all of your background elements kind of flattened, it'll help the readability, the overall readability. If not flattened, then with some like gradients. Simple for backgrounds. We're getting somewhere. I'm going to do some kind of flat silhouetted grass clumps here. This should give that layer a little extra depth. I almost feel like this little island in the background over here, to just help it to not look muddy, I'm going to go ahead and almost fill it in flat like a silhouette. I might give it some more rocks and trees up there too. But not full trees, because we are dealing with like a situation where it's supposed to feel kind of nightmarish. So having those kind of twisted trees, that'll be good. And it lets us focus a little bit more on this tree that's in the foreground. Technically, it should be probably lighter and flatter, just so that we don't get confused about is that part of the tree, and, just for visual cues, I like this though. It's like a little bit of like a texture to it. You can do just some subtle things in here. And if you want to add a little bit more color depth so your image doesn't look too monochromatic, you could add a secondary color here. I'm a little reluctant to do too much with that though, because it does need to match. Like it needs to feel like it's part of this scene too. So, and we're not matching it just yet. So I'm gonna have to do like a little bit of a color balance layer on this. I wonder if I can do it now. Oh, no, it's gotta be in the shadows. There we go. And then do hue saturation, probably desaturate it. We're getting closer now. But we lose some of that vibrance, so I don't know. I think that looks better actually. So maybe I'll end up adjusting the other page to look more like this, because if this has the creepier vibe, if this page captures the mood a little bit more, then I'll match the other page to this one. But if by the time I'm done, if this one matches, or if this one looks creepier, then I'll match that one to this one. If not, then vice versa. These live streams really demystify a lot of things, huh? I used to think that artists envisioned the whole thing before they even sat down. Nah, dude. It's like a conversation. You have your talking points. You have the things that you're pretty sure that you want to accomplish. You're not sure how the conversation is going to go, because there's always the canvas. Sometimes the canvas wants to talk about something else, and you're like, well, I better think on the fly. This is also where I might go in and just add like a low contrast detail, just load it up. It's not a black line. I don't want to end the stream until the page looks great, but I think it'll take me a few more hours to make the page great. But it is almost dinner time for me, so I'm going to have to split skis pretty soon. Yeah, we're getting somewhere. I mean, I really like how this first panel's turning out. And as long as we match the quality of rendering across the whole page to what we're seeing here, like, I'll be pretty good with that. I do think there's still a lot of work that can be done. I want to add more color variety. Maybe choose some kind of a complementary color. But it is supposed to feel kind of drab and a little bit more on the creepy side. So maybe it's not a bad thing that it's a little more on the monochromatic side. There's a lot of vibrant color throughout the whole book. So, and that matters a lot. Like your other scenes throughout the rest of your book. Like if the next page has really bright, vibrant colors, then this page is going to look like a nice contrast to that. You'll really almost feel the impact of, the imagination of the dream world. me do some splashing water through here too. I mean, I guess you can also use I have a spatter brush. Where's my spatter brush? Ah, it's doing that thing. Ooh, I got the checkerboard brush. That's kind of neat. Let's do something with that. Or it's the halftone brush. That's kind of neat. Really pushes things back there. You know what though? I feel like the dots are too far apart. You go to Window, Brush Settings, Texture, scale it down. There we go. Much more subtle. You want to be careful with these though. It's very easy to get carried away. Yeah, very easy to get carried away with that. Also, it's pretty messy, so you got to go in afterwards and erase out. I mean, you could have done that in the selection, but it's not a big deal to just erase it. I have the dialogue hidden for this page because, well, it's a secret. This is a book with secrets, man. No spoilers. It's the spoiler-free art, live art. If you do something like this, always keep those little halftones. And by the way, these are in my brush sets, if you wanted these. But keep them on a separate layer, because you may find that you're like, oh boy, I really wanted to erase that out, you know, that sort of a thing. I do like the halftone brush, but very easy to get carried away with it. Anyway. All right, so I think this is a good place to end this stream. I think there we go. I think this is a good spot. Oh wow, you can't even barely see me. Hey dudes. Well, geez, I want to thank you guys so much for stopping by. Again, you know, let me know what you think of the live draw. You know, if you're into it, and you want to hang out a lot more, I can certainly do a lot more of these and just jump on while I'm doing some of the artwork that I got to do. Working my butt off for this particular project. I'm going to give this page probably another few hours. Really dig in and try to match it to the other scene. And that music is just a bit much. Hold on, let me kill it. Slow fade. Slow fade. Not slow enough. Anyway, the page is turning out all right. The book is turning out excellent. Let me see if I can give you a quick look. I mean, you can definitely see how it's looking here next to the other page. You can definitely see that I'm going to have to massage the colors a little bit more to match it. But, you know, overall, pretty good. Anyway, I'm going to certainly appreciate your guys' support when CreeD Reimaginary launches on Indiegogo on February 14th. I'm going to be doing a live stream with Ethan Van Sciver who is publishing it through All Caps Comics. And but you'll be able to just follow the link. I'll be tweeting about it just about every day, and probably doing a lot more videos. Whether I'm going to be doing them live or not, that's a different question. Really depends on, how this particular video does, specifically. You can also look forward to some Metal Gear Solid playthrough. I'm going to start launching them this week. So, and I got like 4 or 5 hours more of that one. So some really fun stuff. It's been great for me to go through that. And hopefully I'll see you guys then. All right, dudes. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I'll catch y'all. Well, I got a video every Wednesday. So I'll see you then. All right, ciao.